difficult for me. I was just looking at my notes, and I guess it's bad luck. I was sitting there going to add some stuff to it, and I hit done, but I accidentally hit delete. So all my notes are gone. So I'm going to kind of try to wing it. I've jotted down a couple of things when we were sitting there, but I'm going to go over a few things that I'm ashamed of and embarrassed, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about them. I have a lot of support here, family, and right here in the front row, my brother, my sister, his wife, her mother, my wife, my son, one daughter, and his son-in-law, my son-in-law, and their grandkids, and also Loretta and Merle and Sandy Thompson are here today, my ex-father-in-law and mother-in-law. Can't beat them, they're great people. But a few things that I struggled with in life when I was growing up was, my mom and dad were Christians, or they still are, but they raised us right. So anything I say today is not, I'm not trying to say it's someone else's, it's my fault. I take full responsibility, but I struggled in life growing up inside. I never talked about my feelings or anything to anybody, but I was, I guess growing up as a kid, I always looked up to my older brother and younger brother too. They were good athletes and All-Americans, and it was just, I wasn't that good. And I don't know, I just had a hard time with that most of my life. And anyway, I got to where I got drinking way too much drinking. Something that I'm ashamed of, and it cost a lot of people some heartache. One would be one night me and a good buddy of mine, Ron Smith, were going to run over to Dan's bar and pick up a case of beer and go back to my house and play poker. And we went through the window, and Peggy was her name, the lady that ran the place. But she asked us if we could drive these two girls home that were in there. They'd been drinking all day there, she said. It was one of them's birthday, and they were celebrating, I guess. And I said, sure, we can do that. And she said, come on in for a second, and I'll buy y'all a drink. So we went in and had one drink, and then we left to take these girls back home. And Ron was following me. I drove their van, and I told him, I said, I'm not for sure where she lives, somewhere in the Newman Edition, I thought, but I wasn't for sure. I said, just follow me, and we will, you can pick me up there. Well, he didn't want to do it at first. And I said, yeah, we need to take them, because, I mean, they were pretty toasted. So I thought I was doing a good job saying, well, we'll take them. Well, anyway, right before we got back, coming back on the back way back from Dan's bar, there's that curve right at the state line. And right before we got to that curve, Ron passed me. And when he went around me, one of his tires got up on the side of the road. And he got in the dirt and tried to get back on the highway, and it just shot him across. And then he tried to come back over, and it just shot him out in the pasture and rolled his vehicle 2 or 3 times. And that's something that I'll always remember and think, that's my fault, because he didn't want to do it, and I said, no, we're going to do it. So that's one thing that really bothers me. I still have dreams sometimes about it. But, I guess that's part of addiction. You don't think right and make good decisions, which I've got plenty of things I've made bad decisions over. But anyway, they both passed away, and that was really tough. I don't know, it's difficult, especially without notes. But also, used to drink when I was drinking a lot. I don't know if I was unhappy or I don't know. It's just when I drank, I guess it just numbs the pain, and you feel better about yourself, or I did at the time, because I thought, I'm no good. But anyway, I struggled with that, and of course, one of my biggest supporters in the world I let down was my mother, Dolly Burkhalter, and my dad, Kenneth Burkhalter. But one thing I thank God for all the time is my mother never gave up on me and always was there for me, just like my brother, older brother, and sister. Without them, I wouldn't be here today, for sure. And my wife, Carol, she's been very special. I think God put her in my life to straighten me out, I guess you could say, because she's one tough woman. She can be mean sometimes, but it's good for me. I needed that, and I guess let me look right quick, see if I jotted anything else down differently. But I also, my drinking caused problems with my ex-wife Sherry, and of course I wasn't the father I should have been to them. I remember one time I was having an argument with Sherry about drinking, and as long as I drank beer, I could have a couple of beers and kind of be okay. But if I drank whiskey, whole different ball game. I really didn't make good decisions at all. I wasn't mean or anything. I don't think I have a mean bone in my body, but I could be to my ex, sometimes, and that caused a lot of problems at home. I remember going over to a friend's house and playing pool. He had a game room out back, and we was just drinking whiskey and playing pool. There was probably 4 or 5 of us there. Anyway, Sherry came by the house, or came by the garage in the alley, and was wanting me to come home. She brought my son Matthew and Kristen. Kristen was probably 4 and Matthew maybe 2, and both kids were crying, saying, "Come home, Daddy, come home, Daddy." And I didn't. I stayed and drank more whiskey and ended up not going home at all. And I ended up staying in his game room for 2 or 3 days. But things like that, was kind of the decisions I would be making when I was drinking whiskey or drinking too much. And that's something that I'll always regret. I guess I know I'm trying to hurry up because I've changed everything up, but I guess I don't have the notes I wrote earlier, but I just regret a lot of things in my life, letting down my family, my friends, and it's just been really tough. And it's some things that I can't. I'll never forget, but like I'm sure a lot of people here probably know about my accident I had in December of 2005. I was supposed to go to Houston the next day and go watch my nephew Taylor, Bob's oldest son, play in the state championship. Well, I've never been a good person with money. I always would blow it, give it to people, and help other people, and not take care of myself. And I was waiting for the check to get there Friday so I'd have gas money and I could run up there. Well, I didn't have the money, and sometimes the mail's late, and I didn't get my check, so I didn't have the money to go up there, so I just called them and said I wasn't going to be able to make it. And I got a bottle of Crown, put it in the freezer. This was 8 o'clock in the morning. I called several people. I don't remember some of it, but I put that half a gallon of Crown in the freezer to get it cold so I could watch him play football on TV. Well, then I took medicine, sleep medicine that the doctor prescribed me, and it's not their fault, but one doctor prescribed me Ambien, and then Dr. Boyd came back. I went back to see him another time because I said, I really don't sleep that well, and he gave me Sonata, and I can't remember the other drug he gave me, but he said, you'll sleep like a baby. If you drink wine, drink one glass and take that, and you won't wake up till the morning. So instead, I had a glass of whiskey, a small glass on ice, and I took that medicine, and the next thing I know, I wake up in the hospital. And I had run through the front doors of the Catholic Church, and I killed a man, Hugh Chumley, that worked for their funeral home, and it was horrible. I don't remember any of it, but I saw the pictures in court, and that's just stuff I can never get out of my head. I really struggled with that forever, and I do to this day, because I talked to Kyle the other day. He had stopped by the house, and I was talking about my faith, sort of, and everything, and I was thinking I could never be, I would always be, well, I brought up the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill, and I killed a man, and to me, I thought I was doomed. It doesn't matter what I do now. I didn't know about forgiveness. And I still struggle with that. I haven't ever really told anybody that, but I still struggle. But anyway, that's just a couple of the things. I mean, I could talk probably for 2 or 3 hours if I went through everything I did wrong and the decisions I made. But thank God that he put Carol in my life, because she's a godly woman, and she's pretty much straightened me out, or helped anyway. And I'm sure that I know God did that for a reason. But I'll talk a little bit about how I changed from that person I was 20 years ago or whatever. This is, I don't know if it's last year or when it was, but I got a chance to go out to the golf course. And I went out there and I had just a couple of beers, and I made a joke. All of us were talking after the Thursday scramble, and I made a comment, a joke to Rashad Williams, just a joke, and Kenny Himmeline said, "Oh, that's the Burke I know." Or the old Burke I know. And it really didn't hit me till I thought about doing this testimony, but that's not the person I want to be. I mean, I still like to be happy and make other people happy, but I don't want to go back to what I was. So starting to get better with God and to understand him better, I had a real close friend that I used to drive when we were on the road delivering RVs. And he was a real godly man and just an awesome friend. We talked to each other all the time, and he passed away from COVID. And I talked to him the day before he passed away, and he said he'd been in the hospital a month, and he said he's felt better than he's felt in a long time. I said, well, good, you'll be back on the road again. And I was going to take a couple of trips with him. And, I was already diagnosed with ALS. So I wasn't working, but I was going to make a trip with him. And the next day he passed away. And that made me question God. Why would you take him? Why would you take Ron? Why would you have me run over somebody and kill him? And I didn't understand it. It made me really think hard, and that's why I've struggled so much as far as my life with Jesus, and it's just been really tough. But I guess the turning point for me was whenever Kyle asked me if I would help teach Vacation Bible School with the kids. And I really, really enjoyed that, and I prayed a lot about it, and I think that was the first turning point, in which my wife's always tried to get me there, but I never was. I never did get there, really. I did in my mind, but I never voiced my opinion about it or anything else. And I don't know, it's just, that was the turning point. That, and we started coming back to church and joined the church, and the support. And I know this is, only God could do this, but everybody that I talk to, the church family, even people outside of this church that may go to the Methodist or whatever, everybody backed me up and saying I'm a good guy and all this stuff. I just didn't feel it, you know. But I'm getting better, and that's something that I'm going to have to, I mean, it's going to be a continuous thing, me building stronger with Christ and moving forward. It'll be nonstop, you know, until I draw my last breath. But it's, I really can't explain it, because I'm not that familiar, you know, with the Bible. When I was locked up for 8 years because of my accident, I read the Bible, but I just read it from the first page all the way through it. I mean, I had 8 years, I read a lot of books, and so I read that one. And it just confused me even more. And I started to see a better light when I started doing the Wednesday night Bible studies with Mr. Dean. And I was enjoying that because I was learning so much. I acted like I knew what was going on, but I didn't. But I really enjoyed that, and soon I hope to get back in there. I've missed it quite a bit because of my health, and the doctor's telling me not to be in public. In fact, we've been watching church on TV because he doesn't even want me to come up here, but we're going to start coming back hopefully real soon. And I would like to just, before I end this, I know I'm already over my time, but let me look this up. I had some, shoot. I had a couple of verses I wanted to share with y'all, but of course they're not there, so I can't even find what I did a while ago. Like Kyle was talking about today, redemption, the definition, the action of saving or being saved from sin, error, or evil. And I definitely have been a sinner and made lots of errors and was pretty evil in those days. But also, well, I would like to sometime, you know, in the future, maybe with Mr. Boyd and them, go through my testimony, the whole thing. But I'd like to, where is it? Well, I can't even find it. But anyway, I would like to, I'm going to wrap this up and just say this verse from 2 Timothy 4:7. I have fought a good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. And I hope I can continue to grow in Christ and be better and help other people. I think my testimony would be good for young kids or young adults, you know, outside of here where I have time to go through the whole thing. I think I can do some good. I hope that I know this testimony is short, and I didn't get all the way through it right without my notes, but I hope it helps somebody or someone to have more faith in Jesus Christ, my Savior. But give it back to Kyle.
They say sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. And right now I'm losing bad. I stood on this stage night after night, reminding the broken it'll be all right. But right now I just can't. It's easy to sing when there's nothing to bring you down. But what will I say when I'm held to the flame like I am right now? I know you're able and I know you can. Save through the fire with your mighty hand. But even if you don't, my hope is you alone. They say it only takes a little faith to move a mountain. A good thing, a little faith is all I have right now. God, when you choose to make mountains unmovable, oh, give me the strength to be able to sing. It is well with my soul. I know you're able and I know you can. Save through the fire with your mighty hand. But even if you don't, my hope is you alone. And I know the sorrow and I know the hurt will all go away if you just say the word. But even if you don't, my hope is you alone. You've been faithful, you've been good all my days. Jesus, I will cling to you, come what may, 'cause I know you're able, and I know you can. And I know you're able, and I know you can. Save through the fire with your mighty hand. But even if you don't, my hope is you alone. And I know the sorrow, and I know the hurt would all go away if you just say the word. But even if you don't, my hope is you alone, alone.